Hello.
Welcome to the Haunted Stacks.
Haunted Stacks, baby.
We are going to review some recent reads. Think mine are all horror.
Mine are also all horror or horror adjacent.
Yeah.
I'm very nervous about recording a video. I feel like this is like an audition or something.
I'm shy.
Or a first date, or it's very awkward. I can't do my usual first date tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
It's going to be fine. We'll get through this together.
Alright, cool.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So a book I read recently is The Watchers by A.M. Shine. We're doing a book club in May.
Yes.
In May. So if anyone's going to that and don't want it spoiled, you should start watching the video now. But soon to be a motion picture by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, whose name I can't remember. Apologies. Her debut feature. And yeah, I was intrigued by the premise. It's this lady is in Ireland. She is on an errand to sell a parrot, a golden parrot, to some strange man in the woods in Ireland. Her car breaks down along the way, and she has to like make her way into the woods to find someone to help her or get a mechanic or something. And she finds this house, middle of nowhere, and there's like a lady saying, "Quick, quick, come in the house." And she's like, "Oh, okay, that's a bit weird." She rushes inside the house, and then it turns out there's like a young man, a young woman, and this slightly older woman, probably like the 40s, 50s maybe, something like that. And they're being watched by the titular watchers, and they come out at night, and they have to keep the light on. There's like a spooky message written above the fireplace saying, "Stay in the light." And then they're in this room that's sort of like surrounded by mirrors, and behind the mirrors you see these creepy creatures who are watching them and making noise and keeping them awake and stuff. And yeah, it's just a tale about it's just a story about how they survive or if they survive. I enjoyed the prose. There are a few sections where he would kind of like repeat descriptions, and I thought it was a bit clunky in the early couple of chapters, but it was I would say the definition of a page turner. I was like desperate to like find out. I just love like a really basic, simple mystery, like easy setup. Like, this is the thing, these are the people, this is the location, this is the mystery.
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm big into that. I don't need anything more complicated. I don't know if I can handle anything more complicated than that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed learning that. I did feel like what I felt was the climax didn't turn out to be the climax. Probably about 3/4 of the way through, I was like, oh, well, this is clearly wrapping up now. But then there's still like that much book left. So I was a bit confused by that. And I did feel like, well, where's this going? I don't see what is needed here. This is kind of just a lot extra that I don't need. But then it turns out you did need it. And I thought it was cool and tense and scary and just made me nervous, like turning the page, like wondering what was going to happen to the characters. I think my only complaint is that like there's like a little epilogue. It just felt a bit over the top. It just seemed like the authors put it in there just for like sequel bait. I was just like, did we need this? I feel like this was probably implied. You didn't need to like make it so black and white. But no, I really enjoyed it. It reminded me a lot of the movie The Hole in the Ground, which was another Irish movie. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the actual movie adaptation. See how that goes. But yeah, enjoyed it. Spooky, breezy.
Yeah. Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it.
What kind of reader do you think would enjoy it?
I guess someone like me who enjoys a nice pacey read. It's got a couple of good twists in it. It's there's a bit of action in it. There's intrigue. There's very few characters, which I like. Yeah. I like to be able to keep track of everything that's going on. If there's like 100 characters, I was like, oh, who's this guy? I believe I read it in one day.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it was a one and done stitch. And this is a £1.50 buy from the charity shop. So yeah, would recommend.
So I have The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve Due. This is set in 1950s Florida, in like Jim Crow kind of era. I'm not really a big historical fiction guy, and this is a historical horror-y type of thing. The only reason that I felt confident to pick up this beefy boy is over 500 pages is because I had read Ring Shout, which is also a historical horror focusing on like racism. And this has a lot of themes of racism in it as well. I really enjoyed Ring Shout, which is a novella. So it gave me the confidence
Yeah.
to try another historical novel. And I did really enjoy this.
It's go up in size each time.
I don't know how much bigger I can hold, to be honest. But yeah, so we follow Robbie in this, who is, I think he's 12 years old. He lives with his sister. They're black. It's in a white neighbourhood that they live. They have to walk past people who used to own slaves to get wherever they're going. At the very start of the book, Robbie's sister Gloria is in a very uncomfortable situation with this white guy who lives up the road from them. Robbie steps in to defend her. He does something very innocuous, and that's used as an excuse to send him to this reform school, which it seems to be like a juvenile prison. It's segregated. All of the people who run the school are super racist and super weird. The building itself seems to be extremely haunted. Robbie can see some of the spooky stuff that's going on. And so you've got kind of two stories going on at the same time. One is, this is a spooky school with spooky ghosts in it. What's going on with these ghosts? And the other one is, Robbie's in a really shit situation because they can just extend his sentence as far as they see fit until he's 21 years old. And they're using these boys for forced labour. So they're making a bunch of money off these boys, and it's in their interest to keep them. I really enjoyed this. It did go on for a while. I feel like it could have been a bit shorter. And it was very depressing throughout, as you might expect with the themes that it's covering. It does come to a satisfying conclusion.
Not a lot of gags.
No, not a lot of gags. It comes to a satisfying conclusion. I enjoyed it. I would definitely pick up another one of her novels. And I'm willing to try another historical fiction.
Cool.
So it's a win in that regard.
Yeah. I followed the author on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
And they seem very cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So my next book is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. First of all, just sick cover. Absolutely love that cover. So this is a pretty short novel about a married couple, Leia and Miri. Miri is like living at home with her wife Leia, who's recently returned from a deep sea expedition. Something went wrong on the expedition. It's not explained at the beginning what happened, and she went missing for like months and months and months. She's finally come back, and there's something wrong with her. Like something's going on with her, and it's just like the story is just about how she's dealing with the return of her wife, adapting to her changing like condition, progressively getting worse, and the chapters are split up from the point of view of each wife. So first chapter is like talking about how it was when she came back, and then it's flips to the wife. It's like a flashback to the expedition and all the creepy, crazy stuff that's happening under the sea. Just like really cool. There are a few times where I sort of had to like, put the book down, just like sigh, like really annoyed. Like, oh, she's so good at writing. just like a few times where I was just like, oh, just like the turns of phrases she comes out with. We can cut in like a little bit here where I read a little section.
Oh, hang on.
The people who live above us keep the TV on at all times. Even when I know they're both out, at work or at the movies, the noise bleeds through the ceiling. Downward drip of talk, of title music, spilling down the wall like the damp that speckles into mould around the chimney breast.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, she has that really cool turns of phrase. I think some people might have a problem because it's more of a character study than it's like, it's not an awful lot going on plot-wise. It is just like two women at home dealing with one of them having progressively difficult health problems. There's only one other main character in the present day. It did the scenes on the ship just they get like really tense and like really claustrophobic. Just all the stuff that the noises from outside the ship or the lack of noises. It's completely pitch black. They can't see anything. They're like thousands of meters under the sea. just like the increasing like craziness that they're having to go through. The scenes, so there's a lot of like talk about like obviously I was going to say I'll talk about water as a metaphor, and just the character who's come back, she spends a lot of the time in the bath. And I guess like maybe you could read it as a metaphor of like either depression or I think like maybe dementia, because like the way that Miri progresses was very familiar to me, having someone in the family with dementia. You're not gonna like come out and go, that was an amazing story. There's no really big twist or something. And if you're someone who needs explanations for stuff, because there's not really an explanation about what happened under the sea. But if you just want to like read like a really beautifully written, snappy story about the two cute ladies, then I think you'll enjoy it.
Next one for me, I have Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones. If I had known that, or realised that this is the same author as My Heart is a Chainsaw, I would not have picked it up, because I do not like that book. It's like Ready Player One of horror for me, that one. But I'm really glad I picked this up. This is a 5-star read for me. We follow like this young boy, he's like early teenager. He's been raised by his aunt and uncle. His aunt and uncle are werewolves. It is hereditary, but we're not sure if this kid is going to change into a werewolf.
You mean the condition is hereditary, it's not the movie Hereditary?
Yeah, it's not Hereditary,
Okay.
It's Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones.
Lowercase h.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's sort of like a diary entry from this kid. The family have to move around a lot because they're always killing livestock and stealing shit. It's more like a character study, I would say, than like a plot-driven novel. But like the werewolf lore that we get is sort of familiar, sort of different. Like he plays around with it. It's very interesting. There's some very pretty turns of phrase in here, and there's some really squishy, disgusting gore that is played so casually. It's not like anything else I've read. Because usually when there's something horrible, gory, violent, that's like a crescendo. Whereas in this, that's just Tuesday.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah. But in particular, there is a scene in this where they're killing an owl, and it's 4 sentences long.
I think you made me read that bit.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 sentences long,
Good
this
point.
description of this owl. And it's like so visceral. I put the book down and I did this face.
I remember you putting that face.
It's really good. In the last couple of chapters, there's more like plot. It's very pacey all the way through. The last couple of chapters, very pacey. I really, really, really enjoyed this. Like, if you're interested in werewolfy type books, obviously you should read it. But if you're in a reading slump, definitely this is a good one for that, because it just gets to the point.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying that, because I've tried. So in the horror like community, Stephen Graham Jones is very popular. All his books, everyone loves. I've tried so many. I think I've tried like 3 or 4, and I think the furthest I got was My Heart is a Chainsaw, and I didn't mind it, but I just like whenever I put the book down, there was never that pull to come back to it. Whereas with like The Watchers, I couldn't stop reading it. With Our Wives Under the Sea, I was just like, I can't wait to get back to that. But with My Heart's a Chainsaw, I was just like, I don't care. Just no interest. And I've tried, I think I've tried a short story collection. I've tried at least 3 of his books. Can never get into them.
This one. As an aside, the cover is matte. It's not shiny, but it's like the smoothest, most enjoyable cover to touch. Wonderful. Really good.
Nice.
5-star book. Definitely pick it up.
Oh, I haven't rated my books. I guess The Watchers I'd give a 4, and Our Wives Under the Sea close to it. I'd say like a 4.75. I think that's what I gave it on StoryRef. I think I think the only reason I didn't give it the full 5 is I didn't cry. It's like letterboxd rules. Like if a movie makes me cry or a book makes me cry,
Yeah.
then it instantly gets a 5 unless it's like really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
It's
didn't.
like tears of frustration.
Yeah, I didn't quite get there for A Wise Unseen, but it is a beautiful book. Pretty good. So my last book is Northwoods by Daniel Mason, signed by the author. No big deal. Dude, love this book.
Yeah.
Oh my days! Like, just spoilers. 5 stars. Like,
yeah.
5 big ones for Northwoods. So Northwoods is a historical fiction. I mean, it covers, there's all sorts of genres that it dips into, but it's historical fiction. It's set in this like plot of land, the titular Northwoods in, I can't remember whereabouts in America it is, but it's in America. I'll pop it on the screen now. And it's just like the history of this plot and a house that was built on there. Like every chapter or so leaps to a different. It goes forward chronologically. It leads to a different family, different people that owned it and stuff. It's not just like, so every chapter is kind of like a little short story, really. So you can dip in and out of it really easily. But after every like main era of the house, you'll get like some really like cool illustrations. There are little poems. There are song lyrics. There's one bit that's like it's like an almanac. There's just like all these cool little like this would be rubbish in my opinion in like an e-reader. You really need like the physical copy. But yeah, each story, like some of them are funny, some of them are sad. One of them like has like ghosts and it's kind of scary. And it, like, eventually like I don't want to give away too much, but it goes like into the future like of the. I just loved it. Like there's all the characters are like so well written, just feel like really real. The family who are obsessed. There's a father who's obsessed with apples. And there's like a section where he's like coming up with riddles for his children, and the answer is always an apple. Green of girth and hair but one, brown in frost and red in sun. The answer, an apple. Fat red man hanging by one hand, sways in the wind that blows down the land. Also an apple. Eye but no head, skin but no hands, flesh but no bones, children she has none, until she's dead and gone. This was less popular among the wee ones, but remains a personal favourite. The answer also is apple. I loved that guy. I loved that sometimes like characters would come back, and they would like people would be interacting with each other over time, like because they're like ghosts and like, or just stuff that they've done to the house, buried secrets in the house. Oh my god, I just love this dang book. Like. This is one of those books where I just know I'm gonna like come back to it every year. Like it's just I can't praise it enough. Just a beautiful work. The closer that we get to present day, like the writing style, like the very first chapter, the writing style is like all like oldie English, like something like the Witch, like they speak like that. And then as you're going along, the language gets more modern, and some of them are like. It's like epistolatory. So like, is that word? How you say that word?
I think so.
Yeah,
I've
like,
only seen it written down.
Yeah,
But through letters and things.
If it's not, we'll correct it.
Yeah.
Like one of them's like an excerpt from a true crime book. One of them's like a speech that someone's giving at like an explorer's convention or something. Just it was when I finished it, I was like so gutted that I finished it. But it was just like, yeah, this is now like one of my favorite books. Like, just
Lovely.
can't give it 5.25 stars. So I'm going to go for that one.
Lovely
Northwoods.
stuff. My last one is Necroscope by Brian Lumley.
Quite the jump from
Look
Northwoods.
at the cover.
That was sick.
Look at it. So it describes itself as vampirism, necromancy, supernatural mayhem, and shrieking bloody terror. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's like, I think it's set in the 70s, but there's loads of like Cold War spy shit, basically. And one of the themes of the book is that there's basically 2 ways to get information out of dead people. One is to talk to them and ask them.
Trad.
Yeah. And most of the people who, because the guy in the UK does this method, essentially. Most of the people he speaks to are super keen to impart their knowledge because they've had fuck all else to do for the last 100 years or whatever. So it's sort of like about consent in that way. So they are happy to give him the information that he wants. And then the other way to get information out of dead people is to forcibly rip it out of their corpses. which is what our guy in Russia does. So the one who speaks to the dead is a necroscope, and the one who rips it out of them is necromancer. There is some absolutely disgusting scenes in this, like horrible. There's like, I think it's on the 30th page or something. We have this description of how the necromancer is extracting information from this corpse, and it was horrible.
Much like Mongols, you passed me the book to read this bit.
It was so good. It was so good. And like, this is a 500 some page long book, and the text is small, but it just kept me wrapped all the way through. Like, there's so much action, there's so much spy stuff going on. All of the descriptions are so gross of these scenes, but the prose is very straightforward.
I mean, spy stuff usually would like knock you out, snooze, like no interest.
Yeah, it's so boring usually, but this is really good. And it just doesn't take itself seriously at all, because like I've never seen so many exclamation marks in prose. It's just like, you know, in Christmas Carol where it's like, and Tiny Tim, who, spoilers, was not dead, exclamation mark. It's like that, but for necromancer stuff.
I didn't realise that was like direct from the book, because that was always one of my favourite bits of Muppets Christmas Carol, because I just assumed that was a joke.
Yeah,
it was just them being, he's not dead. It's word for word from the book. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So there's like loads of supernatural stuff in here. There's like government agencies that have ESP stuff. I bought the sequel before I finished that, but look at them. Look at them.
It's always a book that I've seen.
Look at them.
Yeah. I've seen them in bookshops, and I've always gone, well, that's the sickest cover ever. And then I've just never really pulled the trigger on them, but yeah, I mean, that's beautiful.
How sick is that? And I'm putting off reading this one because I'm basically worried that it won't live up to this.
Yeah.
But there's a million of these novels.
There's a lot, yeah. I think there's like 20 or something.
So if I like it, happy days. However, I am baffled, absolutely baffled, that this is like a 3.5 star average on Storygraph.
Really?
Fuck off. This is a fantastic book. Everyone should read it. It's so good. So there is no other book that could keep me interested in a man dicking around in Hartlepool. Like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that you enjoyed it as much as you did.
Yeah.
Just because I know that spy stuff in general and like books about blokes pottering around,
Who cares?
not your bag.
Who cares?
In general.
So good. But it does mean that all of my knowledge about Cold War stuff is from this novel. And so our friend who's into history, he'll mention a name. I'll be like, oh yeah, the vampire. I know him. Yeah, definitely read.
So would you say, so the book's read, that's your book of the vid?
Yes.
This is a new feature I'm coming up with. Book
This
of the
one
vid.
is the winner.
I mean, obviously mine would be Northwoods. Hey, what? I mean, this is a big book. I don't know if you could take that out.
Yeah, but this one's stronger.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, those are our reading choices.
Hope you found that useful. You might want to pick some of these up. Let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with some more things we've read, and we're thinking about doing reading challenges on Storygraph as well. So we might have
also,
a video about that.
we have subscribed to the Abominable Book Club?
Yes, which is a horror book subscription service.
Very excited about that. I believe you get like 2 new books, 1 second-hand book,
And some treats.
and some snacks and stuff. Yeah,
Should
so
be
I'm
good.
pretty hyped about that. So yeah,
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
see you guys soon.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.